God says, "Beloved soul, receive these words with calm awareness, not with fear and not with urgency. Some truths are not revealed to alarm you, but to free you. Not to disturb your peace, but to protect it." Today's message is not sudden. It is gentle. It comes to you because your heart is ready to understand without panic. God says, there are moments in life when clarity arrives quietly. Not through confrontation, not through drama, but through inner knowing. You begin to sense that something about a connection, a name, or a presence in your life carries more meaning than you once realized. This awareness does not accuse. It simply reveals. Beloved soul, this message is not about exposing someone publicly or reacting emotionally. It is about understanding energy, intention, and alignment. God never reveals truth to shock you. He reveals it so you can move forward with wisdom and calm strength. God says, you may recognize a familiar name as these words unfold. A name connected to memories, conversations, or repeated thoughts. The initial itself is not the message. Your awareness is. When truth surfaces, it does not rush you. It waits for you to be still enough to receive it. Beloved soul, sometimes people enter our lives for reasons that are not meant to last forever. Some are lessons. Some are mirrors. Some are reminders of what we deserve and what we no longer need to tolerate. Understanding this does not require conflict. It requires maturity. God says, do not be surprised if clarity begins forming in your heart rather than your mind. You may feel less confused about certain interactions. Less drained after certain realizations. This is not loss. This is alignment restoring balance. Beloved soul, this message does not ask you to act immediately. It asks you to observe. To listen inwardly. To notice patterns rather than react to names. True discernment works quietly. Right now, Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of clarity and protection. He is not pointing fingers. He is guiding awareness. He understands that truth, when revealed gently, strengthens rather than wounds. God says, when you understand someone's role in your life clearly, you stop expecting what they cannot give. You stop over-explaining. You stop investing energy where it no longer grows. This is not rejection. This is self-respect. Beloved soul, if a name begins with a certain initial and feels highlighted in your thoughts, do not rush to conclusions. Let understanding unfold. Truth does not demand reaction. It brings peace when received with calm awareness. God says, this revelation is not meant to isolate you. It is meant to ground you. You are being reminded to trust your discernment, honor your intuition, and move forward without emotional weight. Beloved soul, you are protected not by fear, but by clarity. Not by urgency, but by awareness. Nothing here is meant to rush you. Everything here is meant to steady you. God says, remain present. The truth you need will reveal itself fully when your heart is ready to hold it gently. God says, beloved soul, when truth is revealed gently, it is because your heart is ready to receive it without fear. God does not rush clarity into your life. He allows it to surface when understanding can settle peacefully instead of causing confusion. This is how wisdom enters. Quietly. Gradually. With care for your emotional balance. God says, many people think revelation must come with shock or confrontation, but divine understanding rarely works that way. Instead, it arrives as a soft realization. A subtle shift in how you perceive someone. A moment where patterns become visible without effort. This is not coincidence. It is discernment awakening. Beloved soul, you may notice that certain interactions feel different now. Words that once seemed harmless carry more meaning. Silences begin to speak. Energy. Exchanges become clearer. This is not judgment. This is awareness. Awareness allows you to respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. God says, when God highlights a person in your awareness, it is not to create distance immediately. It is to bring understanding. Understanding allows you to adjust expectations, protect your peace, and choose your responses with intention. You are not being asked to confront. You are being invited to observe. Beloved soul, divine clarity often reveals itself through repetition. A thought returns. A name surfaces gently. A feeling remains after interactions. These are not meant to disturb you. They are meant to guide you toward balance. When something repeats quietly, it is asking for your attention, not your anxiety. God says, this is how emotional maturity forms. You learn to listen inwardly. You pause before reacting. You notice how certain connections affect your energy. This self-awareness strengthens your boundaries naturally without creating conflict. Beloved soul, you may begin to feel less attached to explaining yourself. Less inclined to justify your choices. This is a sign that clarity is working within you. When understanding settles, you no longer need validation from the source of confusion. Right now, Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of discernment and calm protection. He is not urging action. He is strengthening your inner clarity so that whatever you choose next is rooted in peace, not pressure. God says, divine revelation never removes your freedom. It enhances it. You remain free to choose how close, how open, and how invested you wish to be. Clarity does not control you. It empowers you. Beloved soul, understanding someone's role in your life allows you to stop expecting them to fulfill what they cannot. This releases emotional weight. It restores balance. It allows you to appreciate what is present, without forcing what is missing. God says, sometimes clarity leads to quiet distance. Sometimes it leads to healthier boundaries. Sometimes it simply leads to peace. There is no single correct outcome. What matters is alignment with your inner truth. Beloved soul, do not rush to label what you are feeling. Allow it to settle. Let understanding mature. Wisdom does not demand immediate conclusions. It grows through patience and observation. God says, you are not losing anyone meant to stay aligned with your growth. You are gaining clarity about how to protect your peace while remaining compassionate. This balance is strength. Beloved soul, remain grounded. Let truth unfold gently. You are supported by awareness, guided by discernment, and protected by calm understanding. God says, beloved soul, when clarity has settled and understanding has begun to form, the next movement is gentle detachment. Not separation. Not rejection. Detachment. This is the moment when you stop carrying emotional weight that was never meant to be yours. You do not harden your heart. You simply allow it to rest. God says, detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop overextending. You stop trying to manage emotions that do not belong to you. You stop explaining yourself in spaces where understanding is not returned. This shift is quiet, but it is powerful, because it restores balance. Beloved soul, guilt often tries to appear when you begin to detach. It whispers that you are being unkind, distant, or selfish. But this is not truth. Self-respect is not cruelty. Awareness is not abandonment. You are allowed to choose peace without apologizing for it. God says, emotional detachment is not built in one decision. It forms gradually as you observe patterns honestly. You notice how certain interactions leave you feeling drained, unsettled, or uneasy. You do not react. You simply acknowledge. Acknowledgement is the first act of freedom. Beloved soul, as detachment grows, you may feel lighter without knowing why. You think less about certain conversations. You feel less compelled to respond immediately. This is not avoidance. This is emotional regulation returning to you naturally. God says, peace begins to re-enter your inner space when you stop seeking closure from others and allow understanding to close the loop within you. Closure does not always require conversation. Sometimes it requires acceptance. Acceptance releases more weight than explanation ever could. Beloved soul, you are learning that not everyone who walks beside you understands your inner world. And that is okay. You do not need everyone to. You only need to remain true to yourself. This truth grounds you and stabilizes your emotions. Right now, Archangel Michael stands as a calm guardian of emotional strength and protection. He is not asking you to withdraw from life. He is teaching you how to stand firmly within it without being pulled apart by it. God says, emotional detachment also sharpens discernment. You become clearer about where to invest your energy and where to conserve it. You listen more. You react less. This awareness allows you to move with wisdom rather than impulse. Beloved soul, as guilt fades, confidence quietly replaces it. You trust your inner signals. You no longer question whether choosing peace is the right thing to do. Peace feels right because it aligns with truth. God says, detachment allows compassion to exist without self-sacrifice. You can care without carrying. You can understand without absorbing. This balance is emotional maturity forming within you. Beloved soul, you may notice that your boundaries become clearer. Not rigid, but steady. You communicate calmly. You step back when needed. You step forward when aligned. These choices no longer feel dramatic. They feel natural. God says, emotional freedom does not arrive with noise. It arrives with calm certainty. You feel settled in yourself. You are not pulled by expectation. You are guided by clarity. Beloved soul, allow this detachment to complete its work gently. You are not losing connection with others. You are strengthening connection with yourself. And that connection supports every part of your life. God says, remain grounded. Peace is not something you chase. It is something you allow when you stop carrying what was never yours to hold. God says, beloved soul, when understanding has matured and emotional detachment has softened your inner world, the final movement is closure. Not the kind that demands explanation, confrontation, or agreement, but the kind that settles quietly inside you. This closure does not announce itself. It simply arrives when you no longer feel pulled to revisit what has already been understood. God says, closure is not an ending filled with loss. It is a completion filled with clarity. You stop replaying conversations. You stop imagining different outcomes. You stop carrying questions that no longer need answers. The mind grows quieter because the heart has accepted the truth it was shown. Beloved soul, protection does not always come through walls or distance. Sometimes it comes through discernment. You recognize what deserves access to your energy and what does not. This awareness becomes your shield. It allows you to remain compassionate without being vulnerable in ways that cost you peace. God says, when closure settles, your nervous system relaxes. You respond instead of react. You choose silence when words would drain you. You choose space when closeness would confuse you. These choices are not avoidance. They are wisdom in practice. Beloved soul, you may notice that the person once highlighted in your awareness no longer occupies your thoughts the same way. There is no anger. No resentment. Just neutrality. This neutrality is powerful. It means the lesson has been integrated and the emotional charge has dissolved. God says, moving forward now feels lighter because you are no longer dragging unresolved energy behind you. You are present. You are attentive. You are open to connections that align with your values and pace. What comes next will meet you without resistance. Right now, Archangel Michael stands quietly as a guardian of inner protection and balance. He is not calling for action. He is holding the calm boundary you have built. He understands that what is protected by awareness remains stable. Beloved soul, closure also restores self-trust. You trust your perceptions. You trust your timing. You trust your ability to step away from what no longer serves you without needing justification. This trust strengthens your confidence and steadies your future choices. God says, inner protection does not isolate you. It refines your connections. You become more selective, not withdrawn. You invest where growth is mutual. You engage where respect is present. This selectivity preserves joy and prevents emotional exhaustion. Beloved soul, peace now feels familiar rather than fragile. You know how to return to it. You recognize when something disrupts it. And you choose accordingly. This is mastery of your inner world, formed through patience and awareness. God says, your path forward is not defined by what you release, but by how lightly you now walk. You move with intention. You listen deeply. You allow life to meet you without force. This openness invites alignment naturally. Beloved soul, closure does not erase the past. It integrates it. The understanding you gained becomes wisdom. The awareness you developed becomes guidance. Nothing was wasted. Everything prepared you to stand here, calm and clear. God says, remain grounded in this completion. You are protected by clarity, supported by self-trust, and guided by calm awareness. What unfolds next will do so gently, because you are ready to receive it without losing yourself. If this message brought calm closure and inner protection, type Amen and carry the peace gently. There is no rush, only balance moving forward.